Hi everyone, blessings to everybody. This is your daily dose of encouragement with Fortified. As we go into this next week, as you all know, it's Holy Week and we're leading up to Resurrection Sunday. So Pastor Alvin and I decided we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a series this week and it's going to be the 7 I Ams of Jesus. So let's begin with John 15. That's where we're going to start with the first I Am. John 15, 1-5 says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. You are already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me, and I in him, bears much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. Now I like this because the first I am that we're going to see this week is that Jesus says, I am the true vine. That must mean there are a lot of fake plants out there, a lot of fake vines trying to look good and trying to entice people to try to connect to them. But Jesus is the true vine. And he says that his Father is the vine dresser or the gardener. That means that the gardener knows exactly where to place certain plants, where to connect them with, and to whom they should be connected to. And we know that Jesus is the one that we need to be connected with. Because as we read earlier, if we abide in him and him in us, we will bear much fruit. Because without him, you and I can't do anything. And in the times that we're in, we need to realize that we are not without help, that we are not without provision, we are not without sustenance, we are not without strength or courage. We have all of that if we're connected to Jesus. Now it continues to say this, that every branch that does not bear fruit, the Bible tells us that he takes away. And when we read that, we can get very scared. What do you mean if I don't bear fruit? Even in this time, what happens? But what it means there is this, is that that word takes away is actually the word arrow. You know, like airplane. So it means that God is now lifting you up towards what? Towards the sun. See, a branch, what a branch is going to do is going to reach out towards the sun. That's its trajectory. It's moving upwards to try to reach the sun. But when the other branches that are following behind that main branch are now underneath a shadow, they'll begin to now go downwards towards the ground. And now if they're towards the ground, they're going to get dirty, they're going to get muddy, they're going to find their leaves now turning brown because they're not getting the sun that they need. So what does the gardener do? The gardener now picks up and washes the leaves clean and now brings them up towards the sun, because it's when the sun hits those leaves that there is energy, there is a life that now begins to flow. For what? So that fruit can be produced. In this time, we find ourselves, if you're feeling low, I pray that these encouraging words is like the Father lifting you up out of the miry clay or the disappointments and doubts that you're in, but lifting you up towards the sun, Jesus, to see him in all his beauty, in spite of everything that's happening. But the scriptures do continue, and it says that he prunes. Now, pruning isn't fun. It's really getting rid of all the unnecessary. It's getting rid of all the leaves, because you can be too leafy and not produce anything. So pruning makes way for fruit. So maybe in this time, because all the distractions, there are things that have been removed, it's a type of pruning. And it does hurt because your emotions are involved. Your flesh is involved. But if you look at it from a perspective, the perspective of eternity, what do we see? We see that there is much fruit waiting for us on the other side. And so I want to encourage you that while all of the unnecessary are being pruned out of your life, it just simply means this: get ready for fruit. your life is going to begin to bear fruit. And what is fruit supposed to do? Fruit is supposed to tell the world of the beauty of the one you're connected with. They now are able to partake of that fruit and taste and see his goodness. But you see, a branch cannot do anything unless it stays connected to the vine. And that's why the word here is abide. It means to dwell. It means to live in. It means to be vitally connected to. Vitally, what does that mean? Your life depends on it. Our lives depend on being connected to Christ and allowing his life to flow to us and then through us. So during this time where you are feeding, where you are resting, where you are leaning in to hear more of what he has to say, what you're doing is you are more aware of the connection to him than you are of everything else around you. And as you are more aware of that, you can now draw from the truth of who he is, the reality of who he is. You can drink of that living water. You can begin to just receive everything that he has, all the nutrients. To do what? To strengthen you, to keep you stable, to keep you steady in the midst of what's going on. And when you are stable and steady, you're not worried about what's going on. The only thing you're thinking about is staying connected, abiding, living in, dwelling in the vine. So that's my encouragement for you today, is that you find yourself more aware of you being connected to Jesus than what's going on around you. And that doesn't mean you don't care. It just means this: what he has to say is more important than what is being said out there. His life is more important than what people say is going on around you. Stay connected to him. It's of vital importance. And so he is the true vine. And when we see him for who he is, we're going to see that as we're connected to him, people are going to be attracted to him in us because they see him through us. Amen? Have a great day ahead.